Denise Fox faces a life-threatening turn in her cancer battle. Denise Fox was placed into a medically induced coma after doctors delivered a devastating update about her condition during her ongoing cancer battle. The EastEnders veteran was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, AML, in June, a particularly aggressive type of blood cancer that demands immediate and intensive treatment. So far, Denise has endured 2 difficult rounds of chemotherapy. However, earlier this month, doctors delivered disappointing news, revealing that neither course of treatment had produced the results they had hoped for. The next step in her treatment is a stem cell transplant. While residents across Walford gathered at the community centre to undergo tests and discover whether they could be suitable donors, Denise received another devastating blow. Doctors confirmed that the infection she had been suffering from had progressed into sepsis, forcing her to be transferred to intensive care and placed on a ventilator. The consultant then explained that Denise needed to be put into a medically induced coma. Shocked by the revelation, Denise asked whether the sepsis could become more serious while she was unconscious, and whether there was a possibility that she might never wake up. The doctor admitted that there was a small risk of that happening, but stressed that placing her on a ventilator would significantly improve her chances of surviving. Denise and Jack Branning were overcome with emotion as they struggled to take in the frightening news. Jack suggested bringing the children to see her, but Denise firmly refused, unable to face them at such a painful moment. Through tears, she explained that she could not say goodbye to them. Soon afterwards, Denise was moved into intensive care as the medical team prepared to sedate her. During an emotional exchange, she asked Jack to make sure all of her children knew how much she loved them. She also spoke about practical matters, including the location of her will. Jack remained by her side and held her hand as he reassured her of his love, while the doctors began the sedation process. Meanwhile, back in the square, Kim Fox made a potentially life-saving discovery. After searching through an ancestry website, she uncovered evidence that Denise has a previously unknown half-brother. Even more remarkably, the long-lost relative could potentially be a suitable stem cell donor for Denise. Jack and Chelsea Fox were visibly emotional when they received the unexpected news. Although they were struggling to hold back their tears, the discovery gave them a new sense of hope that this mysterious relative could ultimately help save Denise's life. The family now faces an urgent race against time to locate Denise's long-lost half-brother. But even if they manage to track him down, the crucial question remains: will he actually be a suitable stem cell match? What happens next in EastEnders? Huge spoilers for tomorrow. EastEnders is set to deliver another dramatic episode as several major storylines continue to unfold across Walford. Following tonight's emotional developments, viewers will be eager to discover what happens next, particularly after a potentially life-changing breakthrough in Denise Fox's desperate battle for survival. Denise remains in a medically induced coma after doctors discovered that the chest infection she was suffering from had developed into sepsis. With her immune system already weakened by her battle with acute myeloid leukemia, the infection has placed her in an extremely dangerous situation. Doctors made the difficult decision to put Denise on a ventilator in the hope that it would give her body the best possible opportunity to fight the infection. Before being sedated, Denise feared that she might never wake up again. The frightening possibility left Denise deeply emotional. She asked Jack Branning to deal with several important matters in case the worst happened, including details about her funeral and the location of her will. She also wanted Jack to make sure her children knew just how much she loved them. Jack was devastated, but tried to remain strong for his wife. He stayed beside her and reassured her that he would be there for her as the doctors prepared to place her into the medically induced coma. However, just as Denise's loved ones began to fear that they could lose her, Kim Fox made an astonishing discovery that could completely change the situation. Hope for Denise as Darnell is found. After using an ancestry website to investigate Denise's family history, Kim discovered that Denise has a previously unknown half-brother named Darnell. The discovery could prove to be the breakthrough the family has been desperately waiting for. Denise urgently needs a suitable stem cell donor, and there is now a possibility that Darnell could be a match. Kim quickly informed Jack about what she had found. Jack was overwhelmed with emotion upon hearing the news, as it gave the family a fresh sense of hope at a time when they had been preparing for the possibility of losing Denise. The Fox-Truman family now unite in an urgent effort to track Darnell down. Everyone understands that time is extremely important because Denise remains critically ill in hospital. Jack, desperate to do whatever he can to save his wife, decides that he cannot simply sit back and wait. He takes matters into his own hands as the family attempts to locate Darnell. However, Jack does not realize that Kim has already managed to make contact with Denise's long-lost relative. Darnell eventually agrees to meet Kim, although he has absolutely no idea why she has suddenly reached out to him. His confusion soon turns into shock when he learns that Denise is seriously ill and desperately needs a potential stem cell donor. The news leaves Darnell struggling to process everything. He has suddenly been confronted with a family connection he never expected to discover, while at the same time being told that a relative he barely knows could be fighting for her life. Despite his reservations, Darnell agrees to visit Denise in hospital. However, the emotional experience becomes too overwhelming for him. After seeing the seriousness of Denise's condition and taking in everything that has happened, Darnell abruptly leaves the hospital. His sudden departure leaves Kim and Jack facing another major obstacle. They now need to convince Darnell to stay involved and consider helping Denise. The biggest question is whether Darnell will agree to undergo the necessary tests and find out whether he can actually become Denise's donor. With Denise's life hanging in the balance, the family cannot afford to waste too much time. Amy faces heartbreak after Denzel rejects her. Elsewhere in Walford, Amy Mitchell is also facing an emotional setback. Amy and Denzel Danes have been growing closer recently, and it appeared that their relationship could finally move forward after they managed to put the earlier drama involving Avani behind them. However, Denzel receives an important warning from Howie about getting involved with Amy. Later, when Amy takes the initiative and makes a move towards Denzel, she is left shocked when he rejects her. The rejection hits Amy particularly hard. She had seemingly believed that the pair were finally on the same page, so Denzel's response leaves her feeling hurt, embarrassed, and emotionally vulnerable. Things become even more concerning when Amy crosses paths with Craig Ingram. Craig has recently been suspended from the police force following allegations of gross misconduct. His professional future is already uncertain, and his recent behavior has raised serious concerns. Despite everything surrounding Craig, Amy agrees to meet him. This could prove to be a dangerous decision for Amy, especially while she is already feeling emotionally fragile following Denzel's rejection. Viewers will be left wondering why Craig wants to meet Amy and what he may have planned. Could Amy be walking straight into a situation she will later regret? Suki and Eve receive distressing news. There is also trouble ahead for Suki and Eve Panesar Unwin. The couple are left devastated when they learn that Ria's mother could be considering seeking custody. The news immediately creates tension and uncertainty. Suki finds the situation particularly difficult to cope with, and her emotional response causes further conflict within the family. Her disagreement with Vinny becomes increasingly heated, with Penny Branning and her baby becoming another major point of tension between them. As emotions continue to rise, relationships could be pushed to breaking point. Trouble at the Vic. EastEnders is broadcast on BBC One from Monday through Thursday at 7:30 p.m, while the latest episodes are available to watch on BBC iPlayer from 6 a.m.